Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Diploma in English for Business, guys. First and foremost, I would just like to take the opportunity to thank you all for choosing to study with us here at Shaw Academy. So, I can see most of you have found the question box where you type in. So, how is everyone doing this evening? Are you all looking forward to getting started on this exciting course? So come on, write in those question boxes and let me see. Brilliant, Katia, Amal, Ibrahim, Mohammed. Brilliant, Ahmed, Ali, Magna. Perfect. Brilliant. Okay, now before we go any further, guys, one thing we have to do at the start of every lesson, as this is live, things can go wrong. So can we just do a little sound check? So, if all of you can hear me loud and clear, then why don't you just write what country you come from in the question box, okay? So, if you can all hear me loud and clear, then write your country in the question box. So I'm seeing Syria, Egypt, Spain, Saudi Arabia, Ireland. Oh, very good. Lebanon. Brilliant. There's so Dubai. Okay, well, so UAE, Algeria, Morocco, so many different countries. United States, Great Britain, Denmark, Bahrain. Okay, so Bosnia and Herzegovina. Great. So you can all hear me loud and clear. So that was the main purpose of that. Now, my name is Mark, and I'll be taking you on this educational journey over the next 4 weeks, guys. And people are already asking where my accent is from. I am Irish, okay? So Shaw Academy is an Irish company, and we are based here in Ireland, and I myself am Irish, okay? So a lot of people asking that. Okay, so the first thing to show you guys is how to interact in the webinar. Now, I know a lot of you have found it already, but you will see here you have your question box, and this is where you type in your questions and your answers, okay? Now, it is not just me in these webinars, we have a support team as well. So I try to answer as many questions as possible, but we still have to get through the lesson. I'm sure you all understand. Now, also, you will see that you are all muted, okay? Don't worry about that. That is how it's supposed to be. I am the only one who is unmuted because it would be absolute chaos if everyone was trying to talk. Yes, Abdo, I can read what you're saying, okay? So, you're all muted because we would never get anything done. So guys, if you've any questions during the webinar, our support team are here to help, okay? They'll be writing answers back to you. Now, they will try and answer everyone, but we do have a lot of students. So my support team is 3 people, and they can only answer so many. But don't worry, we will always get back to you with your questions, whether it's by email afterwards, okay? The question box is where you comment and ask questions. So that's where all of you are writing right now. That is the question box, okay? And then we have a bonus question and answers round at the end of every lesson where I will just answer as many questions as possible, okay? The lesson will take about an hour, Ahmed. Okay, all of the lessons take about an hour, and then the bonus question and answers at the end. Okay, so let's start off with a little bit about us, the Shaw Academy, guys. So we are just over 4 years old. We started in 2012. We have since become the largest online live educator on the planet, guys, and that is massive, especially for an Irish company, okay, what started out as a small Irish company. We have offices all over the world on several different continents. So we have offices here, in Australia, in India, and Germany. Okay? Now, this is me, your educator, Mark Kennelly. Okay, I have a bachelor's degree, and I have several years teaching experience with English to foreign students, so English as a foreign language. But like I said, it's not just me. we have the full English for Business team here. So there you can see Niman, Jack and Thomas, okay? And they are the support team who are answering your questions and who you will have a lot of interaction with over the next 4 weeks, okay? Because Shaw Academy is all about support. Now, what are we going to look at in lesson 1? So, today's lesson. We will look at the course agenda first of all. Then we're going to get into today's lesson and we'll learn about the fundamentals of business etiquette. You'll explore compound nouns and adjectives. You'll be exposed to modal verbs. You'll look at how to forge and foster professional relationships. And then we'll wrap it up with a summary. We'll look at the course interaction. I'll show you the members area and community, and then of course the question and answers round like we always do. So first up, let's look at the course agenda, guys. Now, we have 2 lessons a week for 4 weeks. So that is of course 8 lessons. So the course is 8 lessons long. This is lesson 1. Each lesson will be roughly about 1 hour long. So, week 1, lesson 1, that is today, an introduction to English for Business. Then in lesson 2, we are going to look at communication and oral skills, okay? Then we move into week 2 and we look at the second part of communication, which is negotiation, okay? Don't worry about it if you don't know what it means. Save it for next week in lesson 3. Then lesson 4, it gets harder. And we start with formal English for Business writing. Okay, so writing is something that non-native speakers fall down in a lot. So that's a big lesson. Then in week 3, we have the second part of formal English for Business writing, where we look at reports and proposals. And then it's the big one, guys, lesson 6. The job application process, the perfect CV, and interview skills. That is the most important lesson, guys. It's the one the students always find the most helpful because we look at interviews, interview tips, how to sell yourself, and the perfect CV. Then in the last week, week 4, we have 2 more important lessons. Accelerating your career as a leader or a manager, and then an introduction to business ethics, okay? So those last 3 lessons are so important, guys. And listen, here at Shaw Academy, we really try to encourage you to attend the lessons live, guys. And the reason for that is attending live is the best. Students who attend live benefit the most. So, you can watch these videos as the recordings, guys, but that's like going to a library, and libraries don't teach. You can watch the recording, but then you won't be able to ask questions, okay? So, attending live is the best, and we know this, and that is why we reward our most diligent students, okay? And how do we do this? With a competition. That's right. In lesson 6, we will be giving away a lifetime membership to the Shaw Academy for 1 lucky student, okay? But to make yourself eligible for this, you have to attend 80% of the lessons live, okay? So, in lesson 6, we'll be giving away this lifetime membership. It will be a random draw, but the only people in the draw will be anyone who's attended 80% of the lessons live, okay? Now, up next, guys, I want to tell you about the toolkits that we have available. So, guys, to help you over the next 4 weeks, we have course toolkits, and you can purchase these in your members area, okay? They are a great learning aid and are brilliant for recapping on what we've covered. They include the exclusive starter pack that all of you here have received just for attending live today, okay? So, everyone who is here live right now has got the starter pack from the toolkit, okay? And you will find that in your members area. But If you purchase the toolkit, you get all of these other extra bonuses. You get the webinar slides for every single lesson. So you will have your own copy of the webinar slides. You also get summary notes for every single lesson, okay? So that means before the lesson you can print out your summary notes, or you can have them open beside you, and then you can really keep up with any of the difficult things that we come across. And guys, you will also get a number of bonus videos. So I make a lot of bonus videos relating to things that we cover in the lessons, okay? So I make little bonus videos, 5 to 10 minutes, describing a grammar topic or something else, okay? And guys, at only €19.99, they are great value. So these are a fantastic addition to the course, and I definitely recommend getting one. Especially now that we're at the start of the course, they will help you progress through and eventually make you get a better result in the final assignment, okay? So they are not mandatory, but they will definitely enhance your learning experience. Now, I mentioned the final assignment, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about that. The final assignment is multiple choice questions. You need 70% to pass, okay? Then you receive your diploma, and there is a small administrative charge of €19.99, okay? And I just want to explain where that fee comes from. We are contacted all the time from employers and have to answer their questions about our students. We also have to fill out proof of attendance forms and the grades students have scored in the assignments, and this takes up a lot of our time. So that's why we have to charge this small administration fee, guys. Okay, for anyone asking, that toolkit can be purchased from your members area, okay? Now, that's enough about the housekeeping, guys, and it's time to get into our lesson. So, guys, here's a little quote that I like. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that is from a Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu, okay? And the good news is that you have all taken your first step, and that we are with you every step of the way, guys. That's myself and the support team, and we are here for all of you. If you ever have any questions, you can contact us via email, and we offer, for anyone who's taken a course with the Shaw Academy before, you know how good our support is, okay? So guys, enough about that. Let's get started with tonight's lesson, okay? So that's all the housekeeping done and out of the way. Let's get started. So our first topic we're going to look at is fundamentals of business etiquette. Now, what is business etiquette? So that might be new for some of you. What is business etiquette? Well, business etiquette is about building relationships with other professionals. It is not just about following rules and regulations. It is a question of providing basic social comfort and fostering an environment where other individuals feel safe and comfortable. Okay, so fostering means creating. So it's a question of providing basic social comfort and creating an environment where other individuals feel safe and comfortable. This can be achieved through better communication. Now, we have a saying here in Ireland that all of us are taught when we are young. Everyone's mother drills it into them, and it is manners cost nothing. Okay, and when we are looking at business etiquette, that's a very good saying. Manners cost nothing. And what does that mean? Well, it very simply means it does not cost you anything to be polite and courteous to other people, to have manners. So manners cost nothing, okay? Have any of you ever heard that saying before? We use it here in Ireland all of the time. Manners cost nothing. It's a very good saying. Lots of people saying yes, that they have heard it before. Brilliant. So guys, now a question just to see if you're keeping up. So, is business etiquette a noun or an adjective, guys? And this is where I want you writing into those question boxes. So, is business etiquette a noun or an adjective? What do we think? Okay, good work. Malik, Hatem, Sif, Ibrahim. Brilliant. Mohammed, Hazem, Bethania. Good work, everyone. It is, of course, a noun. So lots of answers still coming in. Well done to everyone who got the answer correct. It is a noun. But who can tell me now, guys, what type of noun is it? What type of noun is business etiquette? Who can tell me? Oh, brilliant. Saif already with the correct answer. And yes, Abdul Rahim as well. Lots of other people. Yasmin. Lots of people coming in with the right answers. Saif was the first person I saw. It is a compound noun. Good work, Malik, getting it as well. It is a compound noun, business etiquette. And don't worry about compound nouns because we are going to look at them in more detail later on in the lesson. So, staying on the topic of business etiquette, we've looked at what it is. How can you practice business etiquette? Well, there are a few tips for it. Professionalism, okay, so always be professional in your workplace. That is one of the main things in business etiquette. Business dress code, okay, so it's not good business etiquette to be dressed in gym clothes or dressed in dirty, ripped or torn clothes. That's not good business etiquette. So, practicing business etiquette includes your business dress code. So always looking presentable, okay? Punctuality. What is punctuality? Who can tell me? What is punctuality, guys? Okay, yeah, very good. Lots of people writing in. To be on time, timing, exactly. To be punctual is to be on time. So of course, punctuality is good business etiquette. Always being on time. Because if you have someone waiting for you, that's not good business etiquette. Okay, professional relationships. And more importantly, maintaining good professional relationships. So with everyone you work with, whether it's your colleagues, your management, or a team that you manage, you should have good professional relationships with them. And we're going to look at that later on in the lesson also. Office politics and diplomacy. Okay, now, what is diplomacy? Diplomacy is dealing with people in a sensitive and tactful way. So basically being careful not to offend anyone. That is diplomacy. So office politics and diplomacy is being nice to the people who you must be nice to and not stepping on any toes, okay? Cultural sensitivity. All of us nowadays, or almost all of us, work in multicultural business environments. So it is not just gone are the days where I would work in an office with just other Irish people. Here in the Shaw Academy office, we have people from all over the world. So we have Irish, American, Brazilian, Spanish, Argentinian, Japanese, okay, we've Turkish, we've people from all over. And you have to be sensitive to their different cultures, okay? So that is cultural sensitivity. And then business ethics, guys. We look at business ethics in a later lesson, but ethics is the difference between right and wrong, okay? And maintaining your own morals, so your own opinion of right and wrong. Okay, Yasmin, business dress code is how you should dress in a professional business environment. So you should be well presented. It does not necessarily mean you must wear a suit, but just being well presented, so not looking scruffy, Okay, not looking dirty, not having ripped clothes. So it can be, yes, exactly, Carolina. Nice, clean, and professional. So you can have a different dress code in different places. Some jobs require you to wear a shirt and tie. Here at Shaw Academy, we don't need to wear a shirt and tie. We just need to look presentable and professional. Okay? Now, guys, throughout the course, anytime we have a lot of new words, new vocabulary, and new terminology, I will highlight them all on slides like this. Okay? Now, I go through these quite quickly because the new vocabulary is not new for everyone. But if you purchase those toolkits, you have copies of this in your summary notes and you have the webinar slides you can look back on. So the new terminology we had, professionalism is of course being professional. Punctuality is being on time. Diplomacy is to express yourself with care and respect for other professionals. Diplomatic is an adjective, okay? So you've got diplomacy and then you've got diplomatic, which is the adjective. Cultural sensitivity is respecting other cultures, values, and norms. Norms are practices, okay? So the normal practices in a culture. Business ethics is to have a moral code in your working environment. What are morals? They are values and to know the difference between right and wrong. Okay, so that's like I said. Corrupt practices is behavior with no morals. And then look at this, guys. Behavior O-U-R and behavior I-O-R. So what is the difference between those two spellings, guys? What do we think? What is the difference between those two spellings? Is one right and is one wrong? Okay, good. The first person I saw with the correct answer is Muhammad Ali there, and now Shadi and a lot of other people. It is, of course, British versus American English. Now, you'll see this a lot throughout this course, that there are words spelled differently in British and American. Neither are wrong. They're both acceptable, but it's just good to know which is which. Because if you are writing in British English, then all of your words should be in British English, okay? So I-O-U-R is British and I-O-R is American. Now, I told you we were going to look at compound nouns, so it's time for a bit of grammar, and let's look at these compound nouns and adjectives, guys, okay? And you will learn throughout the 4 weeks of this course that grammar is my favourite part of these lessons, so I always perk up a bit and get excited when we're doing the grammar. Okay, so we've got business and we've got grammar, and you'll see exactly which is my favourite. Some are saying that you hate grammar. Okay, well, you will love it after these 4 weeks. Trust me, you'll love it just as much as I do. So, compound nouns and adjectives. What are they? They are nouns or adjectives made up of 2 or more words, and they can appear in 3 different ways, okay? So they can be joined together, they can be separated with a space, or they can be joined with hyphens, okay? So there's 3 ways they can appear, and we will look at examples on the next slide. Now, first we'll look at examples from previous slides. Business ethics, like we said, and cultural sensitivity. They are both compound nouns. Business ethics and cultural sensitivity. Because look, they are nouns made up of 2 or more words. Now, so that's what a compound noun is. Now let's look at more examples, okay? So first up, we've got compound nouns. We've got software, and look how it appears. It is joined together. Then we've got the finance department, and they are separated with spaces. So these are the different ways they can appear. And then we've got vice president, okay? And there we have one that is joined with a hyphen. So there's the three different ways that these can appear. Software, the finance department, and vice president. All three are compound nouns. Now let's look at some compound adjectives. Well organized, English speaking, full time. Okay, so for example, he has a full-time job. They are compound adjectives, and you can see that these are joined with hyphens in these examples. Okay, so compound nouns, compound adjectives. Nouns or adjectives made up of two or more different words. Now a question for you all. Which of these is not a compound noun or adjective? So which of these is not a compound noun or adjective? Website, business English school, businessman, industry, businesswoman, credit card, well managed, workforce. So which of these is not a compound noun or adjective? And so many people with the right answer. I don't even have time to name. I couldn't name all of you. But there's Amir, Aya, Thayer, Zaid. Brilliant, guys, brilliant. It is, of course, industry. Industry is a noun, but it is not a compound noun. It is not made up of two or more words. Okay? So, well done to everyone who got that correct. You're all doing great, and you're flying in the first lesson. So, well done, everyone. As you can see, the rest of those nouns and adjectives are made up of two or more words. Now, next up in the grammar, guys, we're going to look at something called modal verbs. Now, when we talk about business etiquette, there are obviously lots of rules, best practices, and suggestions. So we use modal verbs to express the level of importance or requirement. Okay, that's what we use these modal verbs for. Now, let's look at how we form modal verbs, okay? We have our subject, I, you, he, she, they, we, okay? Then we have our modal verb, and then we have the infinitive of the verb, or the base form of our action verb. Now, don't worry if you don't understand this, because we're going to look at an example. So, we have lots of different modal verbs, but we are only going to look at three to express necessity or possibility. The first one we're looking at is have to. Okay? Now, when do we use have to? We use have to for external obligations from an authority. For example, your boss or the police. Okay? So that's an example. So we use have to for an external obligation. And an example here, you have to follow the code of conduct in your workplace. Okay? So code of conduct just means the rules. So you have to follow the rules in your workplace. It is an external obligation from your company. Okay? It's external. And look at the form. Subject, you. Modal verb, have to. And then the infinitive of the verb, follow. You have to follow. Okay, so you can see the form. Now let's look at our next modal verb. And the next one we have is must. Okay, so we had have to, now we have must. Now, it's worth saying that a lot of people use have to and must interchangeably. Okay, so they use them both to mean the same thing. However, they do not actually mean the same thing. And this, of course, is English for Business. So I want to teach you exactly what is the difference and when we should use each. So we said have to is for external obligations. So what do you think must is used for, guys? And I saw some people writing it in before I even asked. It is for personal obligations or written rules. Okay? So no one externally is telling you to do it. It's not coming down from the top of your company or from the police, but it's a personal obligation or sometimes written rules. So for example, you must be ethical as a professional. Now, it is not required to be ethical as a professional. It is not law to be ethical as a professional, but it's like a personal obligation. You must be ethical as a professional. Okay, so that's the difference between have to and must. And the last one we're going to look at, guys, is should. Now, who can tell me when we use should? So get typing in your question boxes there and tell me when we use should. So we've got advice, okay, we've got recommendations, very good, suggestions, exactly, opinions to do something, very good. So these are great recommendations, yeah, great answers, guys. It is, of course, for recommendations, advice, opinions, suggestions, etc. And an example sentence: you should be culturally sensitive and diplomatic in the workplace. So it's a recommendation. It's not an external rule, it's not even an internal rule, but it's a strong recommendation. You should be culturally sensitive and diplomatic in the workplace. And so you can see all of these sentences are relating to business etiquette. Now, a question on these modal verbs for all of you to make sure that you're listening, okay? So guys, which of these sentences is correct for recommending the dress code at work? You can wear whatever you want. You must wear formal clothing. You should wear formal attire. You have to follow the dress code. So which sentence is correct for recommending the dress code at work? Okay, lots of right answers coming in, but lots of bad answers coming in too, guys. Come on, come on. Okay, so Abdalali, very good. Lots of people getting the right answers. It is, of course, you should wear formal attire. The question said for recommending the dress code at work. It's a recommendation, so that tells us straight away we will use should. So you should wear formal attire. And attire just means clothing. You should wear formal clothing. Okay? Now, so that's enough grammar for tonight's lesson. Let's get back to the business aspect of things. Now, we looked at business etiquette and we said that one of the most important things was professional relationships. And that's what we are going to look at now. Forging and fostering professional relationships. So, what does that mean? Well, forging means creating. To forge is to create, and to foster is to develop. So, forging and fostering professional relationships, creating and developing professional relationships. So what does this include? Now, it includes a couple of different things, and we're going to expand on each one. Client relations, interacting with colleagues and management, cultural sensitivity and norms, and networking. And these are the 4 topics that we will expand on now. So this is what's included in forging and fostering professional relationships. Remember, to forge is to create. To foster is to develop or to encourage. Okay, so I said that in the last slide. Now, let's expand on our first point. Client relations. Now, the client, of course, just means your customer. Okay, so if you work in retail or if you're selling, then your client is your customer. If you were a doctor, then your client is your patient. Okay, so client just means the person that you are providing a service for or selling to, or just the person that you are dealing with. Okay? Now, what do we know about client relations? You have to build a solid client base. Okay? So, the first thing you need to do is build a base of many clients. So, a solid client base. But you don't only need to build it, you need to maintain existing client relations also. So once you build this client base, do not just forget about it, guys. You have to keep these relationships going. You have to maintain them, develop them, foster them. Okay? Understand and focus on client needs, because you need to know what they want. You cannot help them if you don't know what they need. So understand and focus in on their needs. Now, a couple of nouns related to client relations: respect, trust, integrity, patience, empathy, dedication, and sincerity. So they are all qualities that you need to have when involved in client relations. So a solid client base means many clients. To maintain is to continue to develop. Integrity is honesty and having morals. A lot of people asking the next one. Empathy is to understand and relate to other people. So I always like to say, to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. That is empathy. Okay? To be able to feel how other people feel. That is empathy. Dedication is commitment. Like all of you guys, you are all extremely dedicated because you are here with me live, taking this lesson and making yourself a better professional. Sincerity is to be genuine. Okay? So to be truthful, to tell someone the truth and to be genuine. That's sincerity. Now, what else is important with client relations? Communicate and listen. Okay? So, communicating, of course, means talking and listening. But people forget that it includes listening. And they think communication is just talk, 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 talk. But it's not. You should be listening more than you are talking. When you're dealing with your clients, you need to listen to find out their needs, and then you can really help them. Pay attention to feedback. Okay? So, feedback is what people tell you about your service. So, criticism on your service, whether it's good or bad. You can have good feedback, you can have bad feedback, but always pay attention to it because it lets you know how you can improve. And at the end of this lesson and every lesson, I in fact ask for feedback. I get each of you to rate the webinar from 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. So we care a lot about feedback here at the Shaw Academy. Feedback is huge for us. Lots of people saying 5 already. Wait till the end of the lesson, guys. There's no need to say it now, but thank you. Thank you, Renzi and Hafsa, everyone. Mohammed says 5 till now, okay? Hopefully I can keep it going. Okay, be a problem solver. What is a problem solver? A lot of people writing in 10s now. Okay, thank you, guys. So what is a problem solver? Very simply, a problem solver is a person who solves problems. If your clients have a problem, you need to be the one to solve their problem. So you need to be a problem solver. Okay? Balance honesty with diplomacy. Now, we looked earlier and we saw that you need to be honest and you need to be diplomatic. So what does this mean? How can we balance the two? Well, think about it this way. You need to be honest, but you can't always be too honest because it might offend people. Ahmed, exactly. It sometimes causes problems. Dorothea is saying she's too honest. So you need to be honest, but you don't always have to say everything because it can cause problems. So you also need to make sure not to offend anyone. So you need to find a balance here. Okay? Remember that the customer or client is, well, I will say is always right. Now, they are not always right. Anyone who has dealt with customers in the past, they are certainly not always right. But you should always have the mindset that the customer is always right. Okay? So you should always be trying to solve their problems. Never tell them they are wrong. Just try and diffuse any issues and solve their problem. So remember that the customer is almost always right. Okay? Add value. So you should be adding value to your customers. Otherwise, why are they paying you? Why are they doing business with you? So whether you're giving them a service, whether you're giving them a product, you should be adding value. So all of you are right now adding value to yourself with this English for Business course. You are upskilling yourself. You're adding value. You're giving yourself something else that you have to offer. So this is Shaw Academy adding value to you guys as students, so you understand. Now let's look at some of the vocabulary there. Feedback, like we said, is advice you hear based on your work. A problem solver, very simply, somebody who solves problems. Honest and diplomatic are both adjectives, like we know. To add value is to offer a unique product or service. So that was client relations, dealing with your customers. Now, what about the people you work with? So now we're going to look at interacting with colleagues and management. Now, colleagues are, of course, the people you work with, your peers. Management are obviously the people above you. So, first of all, some tips. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups, it seems. Some adjectives to keep in mind when interacting with colleagues and management. Be courteous, friendly, diplomatic, respectful, cooperative, and helpful. Okay? So, these are all different adjectives that you should keep in mind, different qualities that you should keep in mind when interacting with colleagues and management. Thank you, Abdul Hakim. I think I will have a sip of water, okay? There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, guys. Don't worry if you don't know some of these adjectives. We'll look at them at the end of the slide. Develop a natural rapport, okay? What is a rapport? Who can tell me that? So develop a natural rapport. Well, a natural rapport, exactly, guys, exactly. A rapport just means like a relationship. So, in other words, build a natural relationship with your colleagues and your management. Communicate effectively. So, nowadays, a lot of us live on our computers, our laptops, our phones, but don't underestimate the importance of face-to-face interaction, guys. Nothing beats face-to-face interaction. Of course, this is a bad example because I'm giving the webinar over a computer, but I think we can all agree face-to-face interaction is the best way to build relationships, whether it's with colleagues or management. Ask for advice. If there's something you don't know how to do, ask for advice. Don't be afraid. There is nothing wrong with asking for advice. Sometimes it even shows that you are enthusiastic. You want to do a good job. So it's not a bad thing to ask for advice. Next up, we've got the law of reciprocity. Okay, so reciprocity, that's a word that you may have never heard before. Basically, what the law of reciprocity means is when you give, you shall receive. if you help someone, they are much more likely to help you. Okay? So that is the action being reciprocated. That's where it comes from, the law of reciprocity. Exactly, Aziza. Give to receive. So, people will be much more likely to help you or work with you if you're willing to help them and work with them. Incentivize colleagues. So, give them incentive to work with you. Show them the value of working with you, so they know that working with you will benefit them. Okay, so work together and benefit from each other's company. Show them the value of working with you. Now, let's look at some of the words here. Courteous just means polite. Okay, so be polite, be distinguished. Okay. Cooperative means willing to collaborate or work with others. A natural rapport is having a good relationship with others. Law of reciprocity means give when you receive, like I said. To incentivize colleagues is to show your colleagues the value of working with you. Now, what else when interacting with colleagues and management? Initiative. So, working on your own initiative means not having to be told what to do. And don't always ask, oh, what do I do here? What do I do here? Initiative is just getting down to it and trying to solve the problem. Don't complain, okay? I don't think anyone would like to work with someone who is constantly complaining. Oh, I don't like this job. This work is too hard. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. Oh, this is too hard. Does anyone want to work with that person? Does anyone at all? Karen says it's foolish, okay? And Dorothy says, tell me about it. Exactly, no one wants to work with this person. So, try not to complain too much. Things can get hard sometimes, but no one wants to hear you complain. They have a hard job as well. Next up, empathize. So we already looked at empathy, and this is the verb, empathize. So to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, to feel how they are feeling, okay? To empathize with them. Articulate. So what does that mean? It means to express yourself very clearly and intelligently, okay? Guys, for all of you writing in asking, can I see your comments? I can. So Ahmed, Mohammed, everyone, I can see your comments, but we have a lot of students, so I can't answer every single question or we'll never get through the lesson. So Mohammed, no, this is not a recorded webinar. This is live, as I said from the beginning. Okay? So, to articulate is to express yourself very clearly and intelligently. Individual work versus teamwork. You need to be able to do both. Okay? Both are equally important. At some stage or another, you will need to work on your own and as part of a team. So you need to balance the two. And guys, socialize. Don't be afraid to meet your colleagues outside the office. Get to know them, because it will make for a much better working environment and more practice of your English by interacting more and more. Okay, so socializing will make everything a lot better in the workplace because you get to know these people on a different level. So initiative is to work without being told what to do. Empathize, is that a verb or an adjective, guys? Empathize. So I've already told you, so you should know. Exactly, Islamuddin, yes, Carolina. It is, of course, a verb. And what about these two? Empathize, I-S-E, and empathize, I-Z-E. What's the difference between those? So a lot of people saying adjective and verb. That is not correct, guys. It is, of course, British versus American English. And you'll see this with almost all of the ISE verbs. We use ISE in the British English, but in American English they usually spell them IZE. Okay? And there's lots of verbs like that: realize, empathize, organize, etc. Now, articulate is to express yourself in a confident and clear manner. And that's all of our vocabulary from those slides. So now we're going to move on to the next part, which is, of course, cultural sensitivity and norms, guys. So what does this mean? We said it means to respect and be sensitive of different cultures you're working with. So this is to respect the norms as a professional in your native country, as an expatriate in a foreign country, or in a multicultural environment. Okay? So, even if you're working in your native country, like I am right now, you could be working in a multicultural environment. So working with lots of people from lots of different cultures. And you need to be sensitive of this. If you're working as an expatriate in another country, then you need to be extra sensitive of this. For example, I spent 2 years teaching in Saudi Arabia. Now, as you can imagine, I'm sure I know we've got a lot of Saudi students here online with us. But as you can imagine, that was a very big culture shock for me, going from Ireland to Saudi Arabia. So I had to be very sensitive of the culture there, and I had to respect their norms and practices. Even simple things like prayer times. So little things like that, I had to be very sensitive of. Simone is asking what my mother tongue is. My mother tongue is English. In Ireland, our mother tongue is English. We do have our own language, Irish, but we use English. So, an example of cultural sensitivity, guys, and the norms in different cultures. These two guys here, Mohammed, Ireland is not in the UK. That's a common mistake. Ireland is not a part of the UK, but don't worry, it's okay. But we do speak English. So, guys, who can tell me what these two gentlemen are doing? So these two gentlemen are greeting each other, but what are they doing? Okay, so yeah, Radva said greeting. Brilliant, guys. So a lot of people writing the correct answer here. Very good. Very good. They are, of course, bowing. Okay, so that is a form of greeting, a form of respecting each other. Bowing. Now, what country do they usually do this in, guys? Who can tell me? So what countries would you see this most in? Okay, I know you see it in a lot of countries, but yeah, a lot of people, exactly. Japan. Okay, so this is something very typical that you would see in Japan. Bowing. And this is a form of greeting. And of course, greetings are different in all different cultures. Here in Ireland, we would shake hands. In Japan, they bow. When I was in Saudi Arabia, they hug. And sometimes if it's a close friend, they give a kiss on the cheek. A lot of Europeans, like French and Spanish, would also give a kiss on the cheek. So it changes with all different cultures. So these are things you have to be aware of. Okay, Ayman is saying that in Egypt they do a two-handed shake. Okay. So, the example here, in Japan, there is a concept of saving face, and they respect distance. So, verbal versus non-verbal communication. Is bowing a form of verbal or non-verbal communication, guys? What do we think? Bowing. Is that verbal or non-verbal communication? Exactly, Dina, Amr, Ashraf. It is, of course, non-verbal. Yeah, so verbal means speaking, like saying hello, but non-verbal communication is shaking hands, kissing on the cheek, hugging, bowing. That is all non-verbal because you're not speaking. So it's different in every culture, and you have to be sensitive of that. Waving, exactly, Karam. Now guys, we're almost at the end of tonight's webinar, so don't worry. Like I said, they are roughly an hour. And our last topic here with forging and fostering business relationships is networking, guys. So, you may have heard of networking before, but what exactly is it? Well, networking is a socio-economic business activity. Okay? Look at this word, socio-economic. What does that look like, guys? Does that look like anything that we have seen before? Networking is a socio-economic business activity. Okay, exactly, Mohammed. It's a and Ahmed, lots of people. It's a compound adjective. A socio-economic business activity. Very good. It involves professionals creating mutually beneficial business relationships in order to create opportunities, share information, or collaborate on projects. So these are the goals of networking. It's a socio-economic business activity involving professionals creating mutually beneficial business relationships in order to do these three things. Now let's look at some of the vocabulary. Socio-economic business activity is an activity involving social and economic issues. So it's very simple, as you see, socio-economic, both social and economic. Mutually beneficial means it helps everyone involved. It helps all individuals. It doesn't just help you, it helps all individuals. To collaborate is to cooperate or work together. Okay? So that is networking. Now guys, where can you network? What do we think? We've looked at what networking is. So where can you network? So type into your question box and tell me some places you can network. Okay, lots of the same answers coming up here. I'm seeing lots of internet, Facebook, LinkedIn, social media. Okay, now that's more like it. Seminars. In the office, okay? Brilliant. They're what I was looking for. So, face-to-face networking. Examples: in the workplace, so in your office, in your studio, at lunch, at conferences, seminars, meetings, etc. Okay? So the best place to network is face-to-face in these places. Now, as a lot of you did mention, there is also social media networks or online platforms, and these can be used for networking as well. And so many of you typed in LinkedIn, Twitter, a lot of you answered, and any other professional organizations for your industry, okay? Now, a lot of you wrote Facebook, and I will just say, of course you can network on Facebook, but be careful, okay? Facebook is used by some companies, but it's really more of a social site. So it can be dangerous to mix the two. So I would always keep Facebook for your personal and keep it away from professional, okay? So how can you network? We've looked at where you can network. Now, how can you network? First of all, set goals. Know why you are going out to network. Okay, so have goals you want to achieve. I need someone who can help me get into this market. Okay, then you have a goal. So then when you're talking and meeting people, you know if you are achieving your goal or not. Be natural, not calculating. Okay, so try not to manipulate people. Just be natural, just talk. Don't always be thinking ahead of how this person can help me. Don't dismiss anybody as unimportant. Every individual has some use in your network. Every individual is important, so don't dismiss anybody. Understand the networks you create. So if you have built a network, make sure you understand why you have certain people in it, because then you can get different people in your network talking to each other, and that expands your network. Add value, okay? Add value to the person that you are creating the network with. Otherwise, they have no reason to have you in their network. Why would they want to have you in their network if you are not going to add value to them, okay? Follow up on your network. Don't just create these relationships and then forget about them. Follow up on them. Constantly foster them. So we said to forge and foster professional relationships. Continue to develop them. And guys, trust in the power of networking. I cannot express that enough. Having a solid network of professionals is such an advantage in the professional working environment. It is very, very powerful. So let's look at some of the vocabulary here, guys. Goals are objectives or targets. Calculating is manipulative. Okay, so we don't want to be calculating. To add value is to offer a unique product or service, like we saw. To follow up is to keep your promises and maintain your networks. So guys, that brings us to the end of lesson 1. So you all did brilliantly. We went just over the hour, so that's not bad timing. So let's just have a summary of what we learned today. We learned the fundamentals of business etiquette. We looked at compound nouns and adjectives. We also looked at modal verbs and how we can use them when we're talking about business etiquette. We looked at forging and fostering professional relationships. And then we had lots of new business terminology and pronunciation. So guys, congratulations to all of you. You have just laid the foundations for your English for Business course. You have made a start on it. And this is a saying we have in the Irish language. So whoever it was who asked about my mother tongue, this is the Irish language. And this, I'll read it out for you first. Tu smát let na hubra. And what that means is a good start is half the battle. Okay? A language is a journey and you guys have just started. So now we can start building on your English for Business. Remember to attend all the lessons live, guys, and ask questions in real time because it's the best way to benefit. And guys, we are here to help, so contact us anytime at all. If you are a Shaw Academy member and you want some further learning on the topics in this webinar, then I would suggest lesson 4 in career advancement, that's networking. Lesson 3 in fast track business success, that's business effectiveness. Or lesson 5 in the psychology of sales course, your tools. So if you are a member, I would check out some of those for further learning. Now guys, this webinar will of course be recorded, and all of the webinars will. So if you ever miss a webinar or you can't attend live, I'm going to show you now how to access the recording. Okay? So guys, I am going to leave my PowerPoint right now, which I always panic about because things can go wrong when you're going live. But I'm going to leave my PowerPoint now, and I'm going to go to the Shaw Academy website, and I'm going to show you all how to access your members area and access the recordings. So, we want to log in. That's not what I want to log in as. I want to log in as myself. There I am. Now, so when you log in, this is what you see, guys. This has all of your courses, however many you are taking. So we click in to English for Business. Okay. And then give it a second to load. My computer is quite slow because I have a lot of things running on it. So, This is taking very long. As I said, my computer is quite slow. Oh, come on, come on. Okay, and here you have your members area. So you've got the lessons here, and this is where you can watch the recordings. So lesson 1 to 8. Now, the recordings will go up tomorrow, so usually within 24 hours, and you can watch the recording. Our weekly assignments, guys, are also here. So I put up weekly assignments, and they are also here in your members area. Assignment 1, 2, 3, and then the final assignment. So I will release these each week, and this is where you can access them. And for all of you who want to buy that fantastic toolkit, this is where you can buy it. Okay? Click on the toolkit here. Everyone who attended live tonight will have the starter pack. You all have been given this starter pack. If you want the webinar slides, the summary notes, and the bonus videos, then you must purchase the toolkit for that small price of €19.99. So that is your members area, guys. So let's get back to, okay. So for once that didn't go too badly, leaving the PowerPoint. Often when I leave the PowerPoint, things can go terribly wrong and the computer can crash and die. So that went okay, if I do say so myself. Now, guys, these lessons is not the only way to interact with me and the team. All of you want to improve your English, and the best way to do this is to constantly use the English language. And that's why you can interact with us on social media also. So I have my own Twitter account, which is at Shaw Academy EFB. So that's English for Business, at Shaw Academy EFB. So make sure to get over, if you have Twitter, go over and follow me, because I put up polls, I interact with the students, I put up helpful articles, and I share my own videos also. Then we've got our Facebook page, facebook.com/Shaw Academy. And we've also got our YouTube channel. And I have my own specific YouTube channel, guys. So make sure to get over and subscribe to that also. And that is Shaw Academy English for Business. That is my YouTube channel. And we put up weekly challenges, and you'll see in lesson 2, we put up weekly challenges that I get you guys to answer, and then we interact on both Twitter and YouTube. So it is a good way to keep using the English language. It's not just about the classes, it's about immersing yourself in the English language, guys. Now, as I said earlier, here at Shaw Academy, we strive for continuous improvement, guys. So really, please, at the end of this webinar, you will be asked to rate the webinar from 1 to 5. So you are basically rating me, okay? So you're not rating, if you had sound issues or anything like that, you're not rating that. You are rating me and my content. So 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. Make sure to give me a lot of 5s, because that really makes my managers happy, and it just makes everyone happy that I'm doing my job. A lot of people writing 10 in. Is there 10? No, unfortunately there's not. 5 will be okay, guys. And when you finish the webinar, you'll see that. So please do give us your feedback, okay? Now, we're almost finished. Just a look ahead to the next lesson, guys. What we will cover in lesson 2. The next lesson is honing your communicative and oral skills, where we will look at communication-related contexts in the workplace. This will include telephone manner, meetings, conference calls, and then in the grammar, we will look at future tenses, quantifiers, and the first conditional. So guys, remember, attend live and your knowledge will grow. And make sure to attend live, because we will be giving away that Shaw Academy lifetime membership in lesson 6. If you want to watch the lesson again, the recordings are available within 24 hours in the members area where I showed you. If you are watching this for the first time through a recording, well then you obviously found where the recordings are. So that won't be a problem. And guys, that is it for tonight's lesson, okay? All this leaves time for is the bonus question and answers. So if you still have questions from the lesson that I didn't get to answer throughout the lesson, this is where you ask them, guys. And I'd just like to point out, here is my email address, and this is one of my support agent, Thomas, or I just call him Tom, and they are our email addresses. If you ever have anything you want to ask, we are always here to help. So contact us via those email addresses and we will get back to you as soon as possible, guys. So if you still have any questions, this is the time to ask. It is the bonus question and answers round. I am going to go get a little glass of water, so type in those questions and when I get back I'll answer as many as possible, guys, okay? And he's back. Okay, I am refreshed. I got my glass of water, so I am ready to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, Vlad, if you want to know when the next lesson is, log into your members area and it will tell you when lesson 2 starts. Okay, so we have lots of different people in different time zones, so that's why I would say check your members area to get it in your exact time zone. Okay, let's see, let's answer some questions. A lot of people saying thank you, you're very welcome, Okay. Okay, people are writing in so quickly that it's very hard to find. Okay, Ali is asking, do you have any kind of mobile app for this webinar? Yes, it is possible to attend on your mobile. You would have to download the website we use, GoToWebinar. So you would have to, if you go to the GoToWebinar website on your mobile phone, then you should be able to download the app from there, or it should give you a link to download the app. Okay. Abdel Baghi, norms and habits are, yes, they're almost the same thing. So there wouldn't be much difference between norms and habits. And in the sense we talked about today, they would be the same. Okay. Mohammed is saying, can we focus on more English? Well, unfortunately, it's an English for business course, Mohammed. So we do have a lot of students that are native English speakers as well, who come for the business terminology. But I try to mix it all together. So there's business terminology supported by grammar and functions, okay? So I try to do it as best as possible. Okay. Mohammed is saying, is this course for free? Well, Mohammed, I don't know if you paid to be on this course or if you got a voucher. It's different for each person. But if you're on the course now, you're on the course. So don't worry. Mohammed is saying, thanks Thomas, you are the best. So that's for the support team, I presume. So there's a nice thank you for Thomas. Yasmin, we do not have an office in Egypt. No, not yet. Anyway. Okay. Aya is saying shukran. Okay, I know some Arabic, Aya, so I know what shukran means. Like I said, I lived in Saudi for 2 years, so there's a lot that I understand in Arabic. Okay, guys, there is no way you can download the webinar, okay? Because then people would be able to put it on YouTube and spread it to everyone else. So you cannot download the recordings or the lessons. You can attend live or you can watch the recordings in the members area, but you cannot download it. So if you want the webinar slides, they are included in the course toolkit, which you can purchase in your members area. Okay, so that's the only way to get the slides. And you also get the bonus videos and the summary notes. Hasna, my name is Mark. My name is Mark Kennelly. I'm from Dublin in Ireland. A couple of you asking where I lived in Saudi. I lived in the eastern province. So I lived in Dammam for a year, and then I lived in Jubail Industrial City for a year. Okay, so it was a great experience, Islamuddin, okay? Yasser saying you're in Jeddah. I never got to visit Jeddah, unfortunately, Yasser. Okay, Karam is saying, I work as a product specialist in pharmaceutical company, so need to develop my English, but don't know what course of English I can take. Can you help me? Okay, well, Karam, this course covers as much as possible. So we cover all the basic grammar and functions that a general English course would cover, but we just put them into business related contexts. So if it is just your English you're trying to improve, then stick with this course because it will gain you a lot of knowledge. Okay? So I would say stick with it, Karam. Okay, people are saying they're in Jubail. That's great. I love Jubail. It's a lovely place with the beach there. Okay, how old are you? Okay, I thought these would be questions about the lesson, guys, but you're all just asking questions about me. Nada is asking, can I speak Arabic? Nada, I cannot really. I have very, very, very limited Arabic. I know a few words, like Kayf alha, Alhamdulillah. That is about the extent of my Arabic. I can also count to 10, but that's about it. Okay. Vlad is asking, can he make any research for the next lesson? Well, Vlad, you can just wait for the lesson. If you have the toolkit, then you can read over the summary notes for lesson 2. Okay, people are saying my Arabic is amazing. It's far from amazing, but thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. Yes, while to get the certificate, you must pass the exam. Okay? So there's no certificate just for taking the course. You must pass the exam. You must get over 70%, and then you get your diploma. Yeah. So no certificate just for being in the course. You need to pass. This is a diploma that you can show off, guys. You can put it on your CV. You can hang it on your wall. We don't just give them away. You have to work for it. Okay? Lots of people offering to teach me Arabic. That's very nice of you all. That's very nice. Mohammed is saying, can we add some information about writing emails to companies? We can, of course, Mohammed. That is in lesson 4, Formal English for Business Writing. That is where we look at letters and emails. Okay, Abdullah is saying, how to practice the language if I'm living in a non-English speaking country? That's a very good question, Abdullah. Okay, what I would recommend is going to the BBC Learn English website, first of all. It's a fantastic website. If you have Twitter, follow them on Twitter. I always retweet lots of their videos because they are fantastic. You can watch news articles in English, okay? News articles are one of the best ways to gain a broad vocabulary of English. Another thing I suggest students to do is try to watch television or movies in English. Okay, even if you have your native subtitles, at least you are listening in English. So you can read the subtitles so you know what's happening, but you're still listening to English and passively learning. So that, of course, is a good option as well. Even something like watching a football match in English. Little things like this will help you pick up words, pick up fluency. And then, of course, nothing beats talking in English. So if you have any English speakers that you work with or around you, just try to talk with them as much as possible. That's the best advice I can give. Would you please, okay, Ahmed is saying, would you please repeat the pronunciation of the last Irish sentence that was written in the slides? Okay, that's no problem. I will repeat it. Hold on, I have actually forgotten what it was. So just give me a second. Oh, my computer has decided to go very slow. Okay, to repeat it for you, it is Tus mot la na hobra. Okay, Tus mot la na hobra. Okay, so in the Irish language, we don't really pronounce THs. Okay, I shouldn't be teaching you guys Irish in an English class anyway, but because you asked, it's pronounced Tus mot la na hobra. Tus mot la na hobra. Okay. Yes, this will all be included in the recorded video, Abdullah. So anyone watching the recordings will also get that pronunciation for the Irish there. Okay, guys. So I'll just take one or two more questions. Okay, Gada. The assignments will be uploaded at the end of each week. Okay, so at the end of this week, assignment 1 will go up. At the end of next week, assignment 2, etc. So there will be one assignment at the end of each week. And the weekly assignments, they are not graded, guys. They are just for practice. You are only graded on the final assignment. The weekly assignments will just help you practice and revise what you learned that week. Okay, but you are not graded, so you can do them as much as you like. Okay, I'll take one or two more questions, guys. Yes, as I said, all of you students are muted, because if you were all talking, then we wouldn't get through the lesson. No one would be able to hear me. And also, you can't see each other's questions. You can only see your own questions. That's just how the program works. Okay, Omar's asking, can we contact you in person? Of course you can, Omar. Use this email address here, markkenelly@shawacademy.com. That is my personal email. And then we are all about constant support. Okay, Mohammed is asking me to repeat the difference between compound nouns and adjectives. Okay, so you don't need to write it. You don't need to write it so many times, Mohammed. I can see the question. So we know. Well, you know what nouns and adjectives are. Nouns are a person, place, a thing, a quality, etc. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. Okay, like happy, sad, quick, big, small. Then we've got compound nouns and adjectives. Compound nouns and adjectives are nouns or adjectives made up of 2 or more words. So, a noun like business. Business is a noun. Business etiquette is a compound noun because it's made up of 2 different nouns. Organized is an adjective. Well organized is a compound adjective because it's made up of 2 or more words. Okay? I hope that answers your question. Okay, this is the last question I will take. Aya is asking, do you need to get the toolkits? Guys, the toolkit is not mandatory. You do not have to get it, but it is recommended. It will really help you progress throughout this course, because it means before each lesson you can read the summary notes and get familiar with the topics, and after each lesson you have the webinar slides that you can look over as many times as you want. And then I also put bonus videos in the toolkit which explain topics and other things. So for example, in lesson 3 we talk about the conditional tenses, but there's not enough time in 1 hour to talk about them all in depth. So I have a bonus video where I talk about the conditionals in much greater depth. Okay? So guys, I'm going to leave it at that for tonight. We've been going for 1 hour and 25 minutes. Thank you all so much for joining me for the first lesson, and make sure to continue this, guys. Keep it going and attend the rest of the lessons live. So I will see you all for the next lesson, where we will hone your communicative and oral skills. You've all been fantastic interacting and answering questions, and I just want to say a massive thank you from me and the support team, and I'll see you all for lesson 2, guys. Goodbye.